In the headlines, 2 policemen killed as gunmen set police division ablaze in Imo. Electoral Amendment Act suffers legal setback as Federal High Court nullifies Section 84, subsection 12. Coast now clear for APC National Convention as court vacates restraining order. And on the foreign scene, fearing arrest, Russia's critics of Ukraine war find refuge in Armenia. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Now the news in full. Gunmen have set Umunguma police station in Owerri West local government area ablaze. The spokesman for the police in the state, Michael Abatam, who confirmed the attack, said no casualty recorded, while reports say 2 police constables by name Ifeanyi and Ike were killed. According to reports, the incident happened on Saturday with heavy bombardment at the station, leading to property worth millions of naira being destroyed, while the cross-exchange of gunshots sent residents of the area scampering for safety. Reports say on arrival, the gunmen, who came with guns and explosives, immediately opened fire at the divisional headquarters after blocking the roads leading in and out of the station, including the one close to the local government area council headquarters. And Bauchi State Police Commissioner Umar Sanda has cautioned people against taking the laws into their hands. This comes after a report of an 18-year-old man who killed his brother with a broken glass after a little argument at their residence in the state capital. An uncle of the 2 brothers who spoke to newsmen before the corpse was taken for burial at Gwadlaga Jumaat Mosque. Adamu Imam completes the report.
The Bauchi Commissioner of Police was at the NUJ Secretariat for a familiarization visit when the unfortunate incident occurred at behind Games Village in Bauchi Metropolis, close to Mujaddadi Mosque. Umar Sanda stressed that the case will be investigated as he immediately put call to the Divisional Police Officer of Dus and Tenshi Division and confirmed the incident to newsmen. The Commissioner says more the cases is on the alarming rate now in Bauchi State.
What I would like to appeal to the members of the public is this: life is something that is very crazy and scary. And therefore, we should treat human beings with decorum. If someone is found to be stealing, if it's not robbery, we don't encourage killing him outright. We don't do that. What we do is please hand him over to the police. The police will appreciate your effort and go into investigation. At least one bad guy is out of circulation. But killing somebody maybe because he went to steal is not in accordance to our laws. If it is robbery, if it is kidnapping, and someone is carrying deadly weapons, maybe because of mob action, we may say, well, it's unfortunate. But for us to deliberately kill someone simply because he went to steal, I don't think it's a very
Friends and eyewitness in the area narrated what transpired between an 18-year-old Abdurrahman Suleiman, who is the junior brother to Awal Suleiman, 19-year-old, who is the deceased person.
Our sons, our brothers, please let them be patient with all their doings, please. Be patient, let them be patient. Patient. This situation is very unfortunate. Because this morning, this Abraham that killed his brother, even Awal that he was killed, he washed his clothes for him to use just because of Shodnika. He take his brother Shodnika, then the junior brother say, give him a Shodnika, say, I will not give. That's the only thing.
Is a little misunderstanding. The elder son wanted to collect his belongings. Then they started arguing. Before you know, The younger one took a weapon and stabbed his elder brother to death. We took him to hospital and we came back. Now we are preparing for his burial arrangement.
Some residents of the area were aggrieved that the two brothers are always engaged on argument. According to the eyewitness, their father came and saw his son lying on blood. He falls immediately and he was rushed to the nearby hospital for medical attention. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
The newly amended Electoral Act, recently signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari, has suffered a legal setback as Federal High Court, sitting in Umuahia on Friday, ordered the Attorney General of the Federation to delete Section 84, subsection 12 of the Act. Justice Evelyn Anyadike, in a judgment, held that the section is unconstitutional, invalid, illegal, null, void and of no effect whatsoever, and ought to be struck down as it cannot stand when it is in violation of the clear provisions of the Constitution. The court ordered the Attorney General of the Federation to forthwith delete said subsection 12 of Section 84 from the body of the Electoral Act 2022. Earlier, President Buhari, while signing the amended Electoral Act, urged the National Assembly to delete the provision, claiming that it violated the Constitution and breached the rights of government appointees. The President also wrote a letter to both chambers of the National Assembly seeking amendment by way of deleting the provision, which the Senate rejected in plenary. Meanwhile, the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice says it will accordingly give effect to the court judgment, in line with the dictates of the law and the spirit of the judgment. It adds that the judgment of the court will be recognized by the government printers in printing the Electoral Act. Statement signed by the Special Assistant Media to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Umar Gwandu, says the Act will be gazetted, factoring the effect of the judgment into consideration and deleting the constitutionally offensive provision accordingly. It says the provision of Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act 2022 is not part of our law and will be so treated accordingly. The statement adds that it is in line with the dictates of Chapter 7, Part 4, Section 287 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, on enforcement of decisions that makes it a point of duty and obligations on all authorities and persons to have the judgment of the Federal High Court, among others, to be enforced. And resource persons at a two-day workshop on the emerging challenges and improvement want the media to further engage the identified gaps in the recently signed Electoral Act 2022 to guarantee electoral transparency and accountability. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman, who is among the participants, reports that the forum, organized by international non-governmental organization Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, also underscores the imperative and strengthening the key institutions that will deliver free, fair and credible exercise. The report.
The two-day workshop is aimed at equipping media practitioners with the provisions of the new electoral law with a view to holding those saddled with the responsibility of implementing the law to account and educate the citizens on the expectations and deliverables. Speaking on the theme of his lecture, an overview of electoral reforms in Nigeria's Fourth Republic, 1999 to 2022, Executive Director IAGA Africa Samson Itodo notes a significant shift in the legal frameworks that could transform the nation's electoral process.
We're concerned, with the high cost of forms being imposed by political parties, whether for election of national executive members as well as candidates. And if parties for just national executive committee members are charging high cost of fees for the forms, I wonder what will be the case when it comes to the primaries that are due to commence in just a couple of days. So these are some of the provisions. But on the whole, I think that the provision on the electronic transmission of accredited voters as well as results is a laudable one, a remarkable transfer of the process. The provisions on INEC's financial independence, under Section 3, Sub 3, will guarantee INEC's independence.
Other resource persons and participants speak on their interventions and major takeaways.
I think the sessions are very good, actually. They are very rich in terms of content. The two experts so far could explain very well the differences between the Electoral Act 2010 and the new one, Electoral Act 2022, and especially point out the advantages of the new one, the improvements, but also the gaps that haven't been addressed by the National Assembly while passing or designing and passing the act.
It's obvious that beyond the acts, beyond rules, the issues of election always throw up controversies, challenges and problems leading to litigations. Election petition has been one of the major, if obnoxious, features of Nigerian democracy. Elections are mostly contested by those who lose. They go to court. So I'm going to speak on clauses in the just amended Electoral Act that are likely to trigger controversies leading to election petitions.
To me, it's an eye-opener, exposing us to the insecurities of the new Electoral Act. So, as media practitioners, if you want to inform, you have to be well informed. So this is a good platform for capacity building in the area of the Electoral Act. So I've been informed. So if I want to do my reports now, I can do a kind of comprehensive, detailed analysis of the Electoral Act.
There is a consensus on the need for continuous engagement amongst critical stakeholders to address the lacuna associated with the new electoral law, in addition to dealing with the emerging threats to the realization of the objective. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And Federal High Court in the Federal Capital Territory has vacated its order restraining
an
the
aggrieved member of the
APC from holding its March 26 National Convention, pending hearing and determination of a substantive matter instituted by an aggrieved party member. Justice Bello Kawu on Friday held that a member of a political party cannot sue the party. The judge said his order of November 18th last year has been overtaken by a recent Supreme Court judgment on a similar matter. A report.
Of the APC, Salisu Umaru, had approached the court seeking to restrain the party, Governor Maimala Buni and the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, from organizing any convention until the determination of his suit. The application seeking to set aside the November 18th ruling of the court restraining convention stalled on Tuesday after two lawyers, Shuaibu Aruwan San and Michael Adoi, announced appearances for the APC.
No, it's not a judgment. A ruling was delivered based on our application. We prayed the Honorable Court for two reliefs. One, to vacate the order made on 18th November 2021. And the second is in alternative to strike out the suit in entirety. Having taken the argument, the court ruled vacating the order and adjourned the substantive suit for 30th of March for hearing. The motion we filed has been taken to. It is the basis of that motion that the court arrived at this decision to vacate the order. The implication anyway, what you want to know, is that there's no longer any impediment for APC to go ahead to conduct its convention on the 26th of March. What? No further impediment.
Mike Nahoro, counsel to the claimant, Salisu Umaru, speaks about their next line of action.
The court had just vacated the order of injunction restraining APC earlier given on the 18th of November 2021. We will look at the order, we will apply for it, and the same order will be reviewed with my clients. Whatever the decisions we will take. But the good news is the substantive suit remains, and it's been adjourned to 30th of March.
It seems the anxiety that was in the air if the convention will happen or not has been tuned down or even taken away, as defendants of the First and Second Council, which is the APC, and the chairman of the Extraordinary Planning Committee, Maimala Buni, and the claimants slug it out with words in the courtroom as it happened at the Federal High Court in Cuba, which of course we're standing right now. One of the major highlights inside the court was that there was an abridgment of the time, and the claimant complained about that. What was counted by Ruwan, who is a counsel to the first and second defendant, which is APC, and His Excellency May Malabuni. So any impediment towards the 26th of March, where the convention will take place, has been removed. This is because there is a recent ruling by the Supreme Court of Nigeria that a person or a member of a party cannot take the party to court. So the convention will happen on the 26th, and the substantive suit has been adjourned to the 30th of March 2022. Martia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And the closure of public and private schools in Zamfara State for over 5 months due to rising insecurity is taking the state's education backwards. Some stakeholders say it will take the state a long time to recover from the damages of school closure caused by banditry. The report.
The Speaker described as unacceptable the alarming rate of out-of-school children in the country, noting that it is a time bomb which leaders and concerned citizens must join hands together to address the challenge before it explodes. Represented by his Chief of Staff, Garba Rikiji, the Speaker observed that 4 out of every 10 Nigerians live below poverty line. He said health expenditure of approximately 76.6%, as well as widespread insecurity, which are some of the factors responsible for multidimensional poverty hindering the progress of Nigeria, especially the northern states.
The statistic was conspicuously very clear that 4 out of every 10 Nigerians, 4 are living below a poverty line, which means 4 out of every 10 Nigerians are in abject poverty, a level that virtually everything that life needs is absence for them. And that gives birth to about 10.5 million out-of-school children in this country, with higher concentration in the north, unfortunately, in the north.
Deputy Governor of Zamfara State, Hassan Nasiha, applauded the initiative of taking off some out-of-school children from the streets, while assuring that the state government is ready to support the Speaker's project of enrolling 500 out-of-school children in the state. He charged those saddled with the responsibility of taking care of the beneficiaries to ensure the selected indigent children benefit from the program. The coordinator of the program, who is also special advisor to the Speaker of House of Representatives on Budget and Finance, Lukman Lawal, said education is a panacea to insecurity and poverty, which informed the Speaker's increased investment in the education of poor children in the country. He said that over 10,000 out-of-school children have so far benefited from the program nationwide.
Needy child, you see the parents, most of the parents are poor. The children are destitute. They don't have place to go. So somebody to come and take care of them, to take care of their education, to take care of their food. It's a quite acknowledging. I really appreciate and I'm happy with the way and manner the whole program is taking place. As far back as September 2019, the body of aides to the Speaker formed a volunteer group as professionals working under the Speaker. We felt the Speaker has given us a platform to serve, and it will be unfair on us not to use the resources that we get in salaries and allowances to also give back to the underprivileged members of the society.
The Speaker also provided free medical services to indigent and residents of Zamfara State on different diseases as his own way of contributing to improve the health status of Nigerians.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. Coming up after the break. Worry not over cooking gas. This and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Trust TV News Update. Now we'll look at our top stories. Newly amended Electoral Act recently signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari suffers major setback as a Federal High Court sitting in Umuahia on Friday ordered the Attorney General of the Federation to delete Section 84, subsection 12 of the Act. Gunmen have set Umuguma Police Station headquarters in Owerri West local government area of Imo State on fire. Now moving on to more news. 2 children have been reportedly found dead in a collapsed restroom of UK Bello Memorial Primary School, Paiko, the headquarters of Paikoro local government area of Niger State. There are conflicting information as to what the children were doing around the building that was said to be weak. Daily Trust reports that the children, a boy and a girl, were hawking sachet water with their colleagues around the school when the building collapsed on them, while other reports say they were scavenging for scraps to sell when in the process of digging around the building, it collapsed. And a 67-year-old electrical engineer in Gombe, Hadi Usman, has invented a cooking gas stove that uses water and air pressure to generate fire. His invention is coming at a time the price of cooking gas has reached an all-time high. Usman says he invented the stove to cut production costs in his workshop. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
This is a cooking stove that uses water, invented by a Gombe-based electrical engineer, Malam Hadi Usman. The stove is powered by air that runs through 2 bottles of water.
Sai da damuna lokacin da ruwa yake cikin hadiri ake ganin walƙiya da tsawa.
I learned that you can only see a thunder lightning during rainy season. In dry season, there is cloud, but no thunder lightning because there is no water. Therefore, there is atom and electron in water everywhere that give fire. That was how I conducted research for 3 years and achieved this.
Muka samu damar cimma buri ya fara yin aiki kaɗan-kaɗan.
Malam Hadi explains how his technology works.
This
is a stove that uses 2 bottles of water and a fan that pushes air into the water, and the pressure from the water follows through a pipe to a point that it ignites fire for cooking. With the hike in prices of cooking gas and electricity tariff, this technology has potentials of solving problems of cooking energy while preventing environmental pollution.
To na samu damuwa akan yawan ɗauke wuta ko ma a yanke ta.
I suffered a lot due to unavailability of electricity and fuel scarcity. To connect a single wire, I must use a firewood to heat a soldering iron or wait until there is electricity. I began to think of a means to solve the problem and get cheap source of energy. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
And many Nasarawa State residents are embracing the opportunities offered by GSM technology as a source of livelihood. Abubakar Abdullahi speaks to some people in Lafia on what benefits accrue to them from the mobile phone business. A report.
Apart from the GSM sellers, repairers, and those who are carrying out other menial jobs, the GSM market is witnessing an influx of different categories of persons that came to transact one form of business or the other relating to GSM operations. Some of those selling or repairing the device in the market says the introduction of GSM usage has positively impacted on their lives and by extension, the lives of their family members.
The business have kept me busy. The business have kept me busy. And to some extent, I'm employer of labor. I have more than 10 persons working for me. So it has created an impact to me and the society.
if not with the nature of a business, I wouldn't have been able to employ up to those 10 persons. Those 10 persons are getting one or two things through me.
Actually, this work has helped us in many ways. Though we are self-employed, but when we come to work every day, by God's grace, we used to get 5,000 naira, 4,000 naira to help our ministries, but it is not enough for us. But we can't.
It's a very long story because I have family, and that is the reason my family has taken from me. I did a lot of work from home there. That's where I came from my apartment, my children's school fees, and other things that I do. I do one that I achieve in my city. This is the only thing I have. I don't have shops. I do anything like this at work.
They said even though there are challenges in the business, but according to them, if government and relevant organizations will provide support, the business will attract participation of more citizens and reduce number of unemployed youths from the streets.
Every business has its own challenge. No matter how it is, the money you have is not enough for you to do the business very well. So, but if the government can come in through ensure that they support us, it will go a greater height.
Yes, we are having a challenge of our equipment and facilities, and we are asking of government to bring all those facilities for us because we need them. For work, we know how to do it, but for the equipment and facilities, we don't have them.
It's only what we normally use to do work, like a machine, like the house separation machine.
It is a fact that there is no doubt GSM operation is impacting positively on the lives of the people as the world has already become a global village and a necessary tool to enable individuals to be among other members of the global village is the GSM, which people use for communications. Abubakar Abdullahi, Trust TV News, Lafia.
And now look at the foreign scene, where Russia's crackdown on journalists, dissidents and critics of the war in Ukraine is pushing many people to flee the country, fearing arrest. Amnesty International, while detailing the impact of Moscow's latest crackdown on the press, said the scorched earth policy has turned Russia's media landscape into a wasteland. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for joining us.